I love the local church. I love kids ministry.
I was waiting for Cammy.
Yeah, Cammy part 2.
Part 3.
The people love Cammy.
They do.
They do.
Part 3.
I've seen all the comments.
That was
The
Like my
people
girl
love
Cammy.
Cammy.
What's not to love about Cammy?
Well, that's true. It's true. I posted a video of her. You know, the kids did a dance on stage, and this was a couple months ago. Posted a video of her. It's my most watched video of all time. And so Sunday she was there again, and I just, grabbed a video of her. Literally, I went to lunch. Before I got back from lunch, it had like 10,000 views already from lunch.
Wow,
You're what the people want.
You're what the people want. So here we are. Lead this thing.
Absolutely not.
Christy Gilman, Haley Stout. It's tricky still. When people get married, change their names, it gets me. And Cammy, who will always be Barfield, even if she tries to get married and they try to change her name, I'm sticking with Barfield.
That was a better answer than what Cammy was thinking.
Kids ministry. Let's talk kids ministry. Let's talk the value of kids ministry inside the local church. Let's talk to some parents who are watching this. Let's talk some hiccups that we've had in kids ministry. Let's start with, when the kids were, last time kids did a drama on stage, they were on stage, and I was talking, and this kid just darts off the stage, just runs. Let's start with VBS. I am at VBS. And it is organized chaos. That's what VBS is. It's organized chaos.
Absolutely.
And I'm watching this kid cry and this kid fight and this kid doing flips as this adult is trying to stop. And all of them are all in the same age group. Like, it's not like...
Probably all while I'm trying to teach.
All while you were teaching. You were teaching.
Yep.
And none of them... I was like, oh my goodness. I told you afterwards, I said, if I had the microphone, I'd be like, shut up, sit down, what are y'all doing? I am not gifted in kids ministry. I love kids, though. It's so weird. Love them one-on-one, but put them in a big group, and I struggle with them. So let's talk the chaos of kids ministry and how you're feeling last night. Let's start with you. How you're feeling last night as the kids are going crazy and... I say last night, whenever they're watching this, they're watching this weeks from now, but during VBS, when the kids are going crazy and you're there trying to present the message of Jesus Christ, what's going through your mind?
A lot of things that came through, like with training as a teacher and how to command, authority over a room and classroom management and behavior.
Which is what? Give us some nuggets. Give us a technique.
I mean, the whole
children's pastors are watching this. They are so excited to hear techniques from the Christy Kilman. Let's hear it.
I came from preschool, so all of my techniques are so young. But like the things like touch your head, touch your eyes, touch your nose, it just grounds them. We did catch a bubble.
Catch a bubble.
Quite a bit.
But then you were like, hey, you can't talk if you got a bubble in your mouth.
Right, you can. You can breathe, but you can't talk. So it was supposed to be quiet at that point.
And then you were like, give me one clap if you hear me. Give me 2 claps if you know me. Give me 3 claps if you love Jesus. I don't know. Something like that.
Yeah, just trying to get their attention. But it's hard. In a big space like that with all ages, it is difficult. But I know it's possible. So we're going to try some new techniques.
So going through your mind, they're going crazy. You're going, okay, let me use some of these techniques.
Yep. That, and then hoping that the adults in the room, the youth in the room are catching on to like, hey, she's trying to say something important. Let me see if I can corral my kiddos to pay attention. So that's another thing I'm thinking, like, okay, all right, gawkers, we call them gawkers, going around with the kids, helping us out, hoping that they're going to kind of to catch on to that. Sometimes some of them do, some of them not as much, but that's okay.
Does she have a look? Does she have a look that she has, like, whenever she's up there, like, to give y'all eyes and y'all know I need some help?
Sometimes.
Very rarely do I think you have to do that. Like,
yeah,
actually look at someone and
I
be
think there's like added chaos last night just with everybody coming in. So you have that, but you also have all the age groups together, and that's not typically what we do.
Sure.
So that makes, just a little more. They don't have chairs, so they're just all over the place. Sitting on your line is kind of, I don't know if it was the best move, but it was the move we had last night. So there's a little bit more chaos with the excitement of VBS and
which is awesome.
The chaos that it brings, but
which is
fun.
So beautiful.
Yeah, it's church is supposed to be fun. I think
I think so too.
needs to have structure at times, but definitely should be fun.
When did you start serving in kids ministry?
I was younger at the church I grew up in. Probably when I was in youth. I started helping then, and then kind of went away from it for a while. But when we started coming here, I just knew that I couldn't run from it any longer.
Yeah.
So very early on, I think, when we started attending here.
Love it. When did you start serving in youth? I mean, in kids.
Oh, I haven't. Before 6th grade.
I was gonna say, as long as you
Technically,
can remember.
yeah, forever. But I think 4th grade, I slowly went into the toddler room, younger rooms.
She would go to a service. I think
'Cause that's when
probably
we
by
had,
that time we
7
had.
at the
At that
time.
time we probably had 3 or 4. She
'Cause
would go to a service and then she would serve the other 2 in a different classroom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the chaos of kids ministry. What is the role? So let's talk to the pastors watching this, because most of the people that are watching this are going to be ministry leaders. This is probably not going to be our people watching How to Grow a Church or, thoughts on children's ministry. So let's talk to what you would want to say to pastors or ministry leaders out there from a kids ministry perspective. Be nice.
Okay. Well, I think I'll speak from our perspective, what the culture of our church is here. I don't think that our church thinks, oh, the children's ministry is just tucked away in a back corner of the back of the church. We very much try to include them. Anytime a kid is seen outside of the realm of the bubble of kids ministry, they're welcomed, they're, high-fived, they're accepted. There's purpose for them here, where I don't know that every church does that. So I think that that's done well here. I think that we try to include them, especially the generational services that we have. We tell them from a very young age, there's purpose. You have, a job to do in the kingdom of God. And so here's areas for you to serve in. And we partner them together with someone so they can learn and serve. And those nights feel somewhat chaotic too, because you've got kids in areas that don't usually serve in those areas, and they're learning and being kids. And so, but I think that that's a good way for them to learn what it's like to be a part of the body of Christ. So I think we include them. We make sure that, they are a part of who we are, and we don't make them feel like they're tucked away. I think that we do that really well here in our culture.
Love it.
Yeah. And I feel like from the stage, I know that could be taken different ways, but you talk about kids ministry a lot. You don't say, oh yeah, we're going to have childcare at this like it's a babysitting service. You know that back there we're making disciples.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
1000%.
And so I think that helps. And every chance we can get us out on stage, even if it's crazy, even if it's fun, get us out there so that people can see, wow, our kids are learning something about Jesus back there.
Yeah, agree. I think that pastors watching this, your church needs to know what's happening in kids ministry. And I don't mean that I have no clue what you taught the kids last week, but I know the heart of our ministry is they're walking away with Jesus. They're walking away being discipled, being trained, being raised up. They're serving, they're praying, they're, all the things that you want. I know, I don't have to know what you taught, but I know this is the heart of what is being taught in all of our classrooms. And so to the pastors out there, I would say, understand that the kids ministry in your church is a byproduct of you. So celebrate them. And my dad used to say, one of his things was, I'm going to grab every kid and hug it every single Sunday whenever it comes in. And obviously, I'm not able to do that, but I do. Every kid that walks by me, I'm making sure to give them a 5, give them a hug, depending on who it is or if they know me or whatever. I'm making sure. New families that walk in with kids, I'm high five. It's. I want them to know you're important as well, and I want those parents to know your kids are important. And so, to the pastors out there, I would just say, make an effort to keep kids ministry in front of your people, and celebrate. One of the things that we had a conversation here about 2 years ago, I'll say, it's really easy to call Pastor Joseph, and really easy to call Pastor Simeon, Pastor Simeon. But oftentimes you get referred to as Christy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay. You know, I don't think anybody's meaning it disrespectfully. But you are their pastor. There was, I'm going to say Samantha Pelfrey's kid. Was it Samantha Pelfrey's kid?
Kinley?
That they brought up to me. I think it was her kid. I think it was her. They brought her up to me and introduced her to me. And she said, "This is Pastor Jamie. He actually is like the lead pastor here." And she was so confused because she thought Pastor Christy ran everything.
Yeah,
And
never
so-
stepping foot into the main sanctuary. There's a whole other church here.
But for those kids, those children, you're their pastor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you're the one that disciples them and guides them and leads them. And oftentimes in the church world, we minimize that role and we don't value it the same way we do maybe the worship pastor or the associate pastor or whatever. And we minimize your role and turn it into a babysitting service. And it's so incredibly unhealthy to think of it that way. So I'm sorry for the times I've discredited you or discounted you for being, sometimes you have personal relationships. So it's Christy and it's Haley and it's Cammie and, and I try my best to make sure, no, that's Pastor Christy. She is pastoring that, those 180 kids every single Sunday. She's pastoring those kids. And so anyways, to the pastors out there, I would just say, make sure that you are aware of that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk worship in kids ministry.
All right.
We do a lot of dancing.
Yes.
A lot of dancing.
lot.
We make up our own moves.
Sometimes.
For the most part.
Do you know what the moves say, or you're just feeling it in the moment? Like, does this mean something?
Okay, well,
What do all of these things mean? Do all of these things mean something, or are you just like, this is a cool dance move?
I think a little bit of both.
A little bit of both.
It's a mixture.
some of them do.
Some of
Yeah.
them mean something.
Some of them, like lift
y'all
you
are
high.
eating something at one of the last ones,
okay,
or
well, that's
that one's easy, But
Right.
what about I forgot something? What's the last? I forgot what it was, and I was like, "Damn, man, I don't think that's sign language for that." Whatever y'all were doing.
Definitely not.
definitely wasn't.
Definitely
no,
not sign language. It's
there's
more
only
than not.
there's only a couple.
Yeah.
Like we do Jesus in one of them.
I don't know what happened. It just slowly started falling off, and I didn't know how to
But
fix it.
we also
Thank you.
have the amazing Cece Weber,
Yeah.
who comes up with the dances. Now.
Cece comes up with them.
Many
She does
times,
most of
yes.
them,
Most
yeah.
of them, yeah.
I'm
She's
talking Cece. She's got to be
Yeah.
13. How old?
12,
Mm.
13.
12, 13.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she's in youth.
Yeah.
12, 13 years old, and she comes up with the dances.
Majority of them,
The
yes.
majority of them, yes. Or most
Amazing.
recent ones,
Yeah.
yeah.
Cece's,
Incredible.
Mm-hmm.
she's incredible.
Yeah.
She is awesome.
They just,
So we don't know. Cece may know sign language.
Probably not.
We just dance around.
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
So here goes the transition from kids ministry to youth ministry to, y'all call it big church, to the sanctuary.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like the transition of, okay, we're dancing around, we're jumping around, we're doing sign language that may or may not have anything to do with what we're doing, versus then we go into youth and it's like heartfelt worship.
Yeah.
What is that awkward transition? Let's talk to you, because you're the one that's going
Okay.
through this awkward transition.
It was a while ago.
Yeah. But I'm saying you see it every week because you're back there in youth and you see these 6th graders
Yeah.
who just came out of jumping and dancing into this heartfelt moment. Is that something on y'all's end that y'all think about, or is that something on Carson's end that he needs to be more thoughtful of? Have y'all ever had these conversations? Let's talk to it.
I don't know if I'm speaking for the group here. I've never had these conversations, but from like personal experience and watching it, you can tell it's like awkward the first probably month or two, like couple months. And then with some of like, because our slower songs in Kids Point, there are breaks in them where we do just like worship and sit there. So it's like some songs have it, so they've seen it and they know it. But it is hard too because some of our slow songs we sing in youth. And knowing the moves, my body like automatically does them. But
you do again and again.
Yeah.
I witnessed your feet.
Yeah. But it is definitely something you see. Like they just kind of stand there at first, and it takes a second for them to get used to it. But I think from seeing it in youth, then you see it every Wednesday and every Sunday. It's not that long of like this is awkward. What am I doing?
Yeah.
There's nothing to follow.
Have you had conversations about that? Obviously, like do children's pastors have conversations about that? Like the transition out?
There's like a lot of people that post like on some Facebook groups that we're a part of. They're like children's ministry or like through our curriculum has like groups and pods of people. And one of the things mentioned is like, hey, have you seen a lack of participation or, not as heightened motivation from your like 4th and 5th graders as they're getting older. And you can tell the shift in developmental ages around that time. Like through 3rd grade, they're good. They're with you.
Yeah.
They're not too cool for school yet, but your 4th and 5th graders, especially 5th graders, their last year in that they're feeling that transition toward that middle school age, and they know like change is coming. So a lot of them, you'll have your devoted ones who are like, I'm gonna get on stage and I don't care that I'm the oldest one in here, I'm gonna do it. But majority of them are starting to look toward their peers versus what we do being cool, older ones than them. They're going to look to their peers, and if their peers aren't doing it, they're not doing it either. And if their peers don't want to stand and do it and do the motions, they're not going to do it either. So there's that shift, and so you see our ministries trying to figure out, okay, what do we do to make them successful? And I feel like we do a really good job trying to include them. And hey, if you don't want to be the ones on stage worshiping, totally fine. We just ask that you stand. You don't have to participate. We just ask that you stand and be reverent during worship, but then plug them in. Like, hey, we want to help us with media. Do you want to help us greeting at the door? Do you want to help us, do certain tasks and things? I think get used to serving, so that shift in like, this feels too kiddish for me.
I think, I know you don't want to hear this name. Okay, so so roll your eyes whenever I say this name. I know you don't want to hear it. Huh?
I'm scared.
Of the name?
Yeah.
I would be too. But it's the reason why somebody like a Carson Stout is so important to the development of guys specifically.
Absolutely.
Because I think of Roberto. Roberto was in VBS last night, and I think of, some of those guys, Jackson, who was out there, one of our interns, and he was out there. And I think of some of Caleb. I think of some of these guys that those 4th and 5th and 6th graders even look to as those guys are cool.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, they think they're cool. No, I'm just kidding. Those guys are cool. I think it makes them think less of my peer being cool because that guy's really cool and because that guy's really cool and he's jumping around and dancing, then I want to be a part of it as well. Is it typically boys that struggle with the
absolutely
jumping and dancing 4th and 5th grade rather than girls?
I mean, because you see Cece, and she's already in youth, and she's the one creating the dances. Like, some of those girls still love to do it and would come back, and you see our whole worship team for VBS, using some of the youth members are definitely all girls.
Yeah.
So I definitely think it's, a guy thing too.
So weird.
It's cool for guys.
We need to figure this out.
We do. And I think too, we've had conversations with like our elementary coordinator just about how we can, it is so hard to reach a 5th grader getting ready to transition into youth group. and also one who's just transitioning out of kindergarten. Some of them move up mid-kindergarten year because we do by age. So as they have their birthday, some of them are coming up, and it's like the whole elementary school that we're trying to reach at one time. And so to captivate an audience of that big of an age gap is really hard. We even talked about, oh, is there a way we could have worship and things together and then split into small groups? Or is there a space one day or a dream to be able to split those two in half and have like a lower elementary and an upper elementary? Because it is hard. It's hard to reach both of those age groups and keep them all engaged.
If I were saying to you, okay, we're gonna teach today on something so simple.
We did the Good Samaritan a couple
The
of
Good
weeks ago.
Samaritan.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, Christy, your entire class is 5th graders or your entire class is kindergartners. You're teaching that lesson completely different.
Absolutely. So like you have to think about that strategically. So knowing that I have that whole audience in there, I use my older boys who didn't really want to be a part of it. I use them on stage, and so they could be silly and ridiculous. And one was the Levite, one was the Samaritan, one was the donkey. Like we used all of the characters in the story so that they could help act it out, and right there on the spot, like, hey, I need some people who can improv, and brought them up there because I thought the younger kids will love it.
Yeah.
Their peers are going to love it because they're going to be funny. They'll be hilarious. We can also talk about, hey, how did that make this person in the story feel? So we try to include them all, but getting those older boys, they're hard.
Do the parents know it?
That they're losing interest?
Yeah.
Probably, because we have some girls right now who are less interested, trying to say that, oh, I would rather serve than actually attend. Even with VBS, they're like, I'm just at that age where I know that this is getting to the transition of middle school youth group age. Yeah.
So interesting.
Yep.
So we call it tweens, that kind of in between stage that we're not really good at right now, that we've struggled with through the years. Is that something that we should focus on more because of this?
I think so. I think that would give them something different to look forward to. And this is just something we've tried, is 4th and 5th grade once a month get to go to where youth meets. And so some of the youth group leaders, kind of like mentors to them, will start talking to them. They'll have their own lesson, their own game out in the youth area so that they feel like, man, this is cool. I have something to look forward to. And I'm excited because I get to see the Carson Stouts of the world, the Jacksons, the ones who they can look up to, Roberto and Gabe.
Yeah. Yep. I can totally see that. And, definitely my wheels are spinning right now of all the things that we need to do to fix or support or help or whatever the wording is, to make sure, because honestly, you don't want to lose a grade, not any grade. Any grade you don't want to lose. But if you lose that grade, let's say 5th grade, if you lose 5th graders, then that then hurts youth group. That then hurts, young adults. That then hurts, whatever, the whole process, families to come after that if you lose 5th graders. So, so figuring out a way to hang on to 5th graders so they don't wander away.
Yeah, absolutely. And then become less interested and don't want to transition to youth.
Yeah.
Thinking that kids ministry is like youth. So that transition is crucial.
So interesting. Do you remember a lesson that you were taught whenever you were little in kids ministry?
Yeah.
What's the one that you just
It was at youth camp.
Okay.
But I do remember it. They were talking about the gifts of the Spirit and how important it is to seek after the Holy Spirit and want more of God versus wanting specific gifts that He gives.
How old were you?
I had to be like 9 or 10 I don't know,
Okay.
9 or 10. I was at the youngest age group camp, but they likened it to a shoe. And they were talking about a shoe and how, like, you go into a shoe store, you don't say, hey, can I get size 8, but a size 8 tongue? Like, you don't ask for the part of the shoe that you want. You ask for the whole thing. Like, hey, I want a size 8 shoe. And so I guess it just really stuck with me because I was like, oh, wow. Yeah, like, you ask for the whole thing. You want more of the Holy Spirit. Gifts come with it. Like, wow, when you open up the box, man, the shoe, most of them have a tongue. So, yeah, you don't go in. So it was just something like that just
You
stuck
ever
with
use
me.
that?
No,
You
it's just
should.
an
You totally should.
analogy that I just remember was used. But there's a lot of different ones like that.
Haley, do you have one that you just remember that you were like, I remember when I was in kids ministry, somebody taught this lesson?
No.
You don't have a lesson? You have
I
one
mean,
that-
I'm sure that I do if I sit here and think about it, but like on the spot, there's not a certain one that I'm like, no.
You don't have one? Surely you have one.
No.
I'll tell you mine. I said it on the podcast a couple weeks ago. Mine was the teacher. Our class was small. You know, we had 8 kids and all of kids ministry when I was there. But she took a tube of toothpaste and she just squeezed it all out onto the plate. And then she just said, "Oh, why did I do that? I was supposed to take that home. Here, can y'all put the toothpaste back in the tube for me?" And she just gave it to us, and we were all trying to figure out how to get it back in the tube. She just walked out of the room and tried to figure out how to get it back in the tube, and we had fun with it. We, you scoop up a little bit, and you scoop up a little bit, you tried, and ultimately she came back in, and what comes out of you can never go back. You can't get words back out or back in once you've said them. So, things of that nature. So it was one of those like, oh, that made so much sense. We thought you just accidentally made a mistake and poured out toothpaste, but it was actually an object lesson. You don't have anything?
Not that I can specifically think of.
Nothing. Well, that did not go as planned.
Sorry.
There was a cool one this summer at camp. They had a ton of locks. I mean, a ton of keys. They just threw on the ground. They said, "Okay, I need 12 volunteers to come up," and they brought 12 kids up, and they had different keys, different sizes, different shapes, different styles of keys. Some of them look like just keys on your key ring, but some of them are like huge, like massive keys. And so each kid got to pick one, and it just so happened that the smallest kid on the stage picked the largest key, like the biggest key. So she went through and she had them all try their key in this lock, and each time they tried a key, she talked about kind of finding your place in God's kingdom, and how you try to fit, but sometimes you look fancy, but you actually are unable to fit into like the hole. So it's not about looking the part. So she's like, "All right, sorry, go have a seat. It wasn't you." And kind of went through, and it's like sometimes the most unexpected, kind of like the little David. And I was like, I wonder if she did it on purpose. But he just picked up the biggest key, and so it fit right in. So it was just really cool to see that God can use you, even if you don't look like everybody else or sound like everybody else. Or it was kind of neat, like a little object lesson that she did. And I was like, oh, I'm going to have to do that one day.
It's ironic that 2 people who are so committed to kids ministry don't remember any lesson in kids ministry.
I was trying to buy him time.
I know, but I was trying to listen to your story.
I was trying to help you.
I can't.
It's so ironic that 2 people who are so committed to kids ministry don't remember any lesson in kids ministry ever. So, is this the conversation of kids aren't paying attention, but it's about showing up, being there, faithfulness, or is this stage fright?
Could be some of both, but also I do think that unless you had that impactful thing, I mean, even when kids go to camp, they don't really remember the lessons they were taught, but they can tell you their dorm leader's name. That person who spends 24/7 with them, those are the people that, make the most impact. So I think, yes, it does matter that you're teaching them the Bible because you are building foundations. I don't think I can get away without saying that, but it is important about building relationships with them. That's what they remember.
For
They
sure.
may not remember what you teach them, but they for sure remember, man, I remember how Cammie prayed over me during sacred season, or I remember how Haley sat beside me and helped me get a tissue and wipe my tears when I was upset when I came into Kids Point at one time. Those moments, or I remember when Pastor Chrissy and Pastor Jamie baptized me. Like those moments, those relationship building moments matter.
There were a few we held under a few extra moments.
We even double dunk some.
One didn't want to get dunked. We're like, nope, you
Like,
get
get
down. We're gonna make that happen. We're gonna make
We did.
sure you get it.
It was actually recently. It was a good time.
Best part of kids ministry. What is the best part of kids ministry?
I just think it's cool. Like this past week at VBS, I was walking around to the classrooms and just knowing them. Like knowing them always walking by. this little kid, Lincoln, every time he sees me, he runs up to me. I was like, Lincoln, how are you? And this lady, I'm sorry, I don't remember her name.
That's okay.
She came up behind me. She's like, I just think it's so cool that you know them. Like, you know who each child is. So I think it's important to build relationships.
I think it's
with
so
them.
cool.
And like knowing, like even when I see them in public, I'm like, oh, they go to church with us. Their kid is so and so.
We had this thing at I'm gonna ask you this question, so don't pay attention to what I'm saying. Be thinking of the answer, okay? We had this thing as a staff where we printed off all the pictures from like Easter, families that took pictures at our photo booth at Easter. Printed them all off, and we're like, hey, if you know these people's names, just sign your name beside of it. And it was so funny that Chrissy and Haley knew none of the adults' names whatsoever,
that's
but
so
they
so
knew
small.
all of the kids'
Yeah.
names. And there were some that we didn't know the adults' names either, but y'all knew the kids, and we were able to go into people because y'all knew their kids' names, and then figure out who their parents were. So I love that you know them as well. Super important.
Yeah.
What about you, Haley? What is your favorite part of
have
kids
my
ministry?
answer.
Do you like any of it? I don't know.
Yes, I
What-
love all of it, but I think aside from the relationships, because that is something that I enjoy, getting able to just know each kid individually, I also love being able to, on top of that relationship, see them go and get baptized and see them serve in generational service and see them move up to youth. Like, I just cry the whole time because I feel like, obviously it's not my kid, but like, that's my kid. Like,
Absolutely.
so I think that seeing them grow and achieve amazing things is probably my favorite part.
Yeah. And how long have you been children's pastor?
3, 4 years.
3 or
maybe?
4 years?
Yeah,
And you've been serving basically that whole time?
3 years.
Yeah, I think I started like right before she officially came on.
And you've been serving obviously that whole
All
time
of them.
and more. So yeah, there are kids that in the last 4 years, coming into the elementary room with you, first, second graders that are now moving up to youth group that, were problem children at one point, and then amazing kids at one point, and now they're serving or singing or whatever they're doing, and you get to be a part of that journey, and knowing that your fingerprint is upon them, your thumbprint is upon each one of those kids is something that's really important, impactful, impressive. How do you keep yourself from getting burnt out? I'm going to ask all of you this question. So don't listen to the other people talk. Be thinking. How do you keep yourself? Because here goes the thing with, the thing with kids ministry is I'm exhausted. I need a break. Volunteers say that all the time. Kids, I won't say kids pastors, maybe kids leaders say that all the time, because probably once you get to that, I'm a children's pastor, that's a calling on your life that that you've surrendered to. You probably are on staff, so you're able to maybe find some alone time with the Lord inside of your daily habits. So how do you keep, let's start with yourself, but then a bigger picture, how do you keep volunteers in kids ministry from burning out? Let's start with yourself first.
As a children's leader, I think the biggest thing is, and you've recently kind of taught us as staff, or pushed this hard, like you have to make moments impactful
Got
for
to.
yourself. You have to, when it's time for prayer, actually pray, actually worship when it's time to worship. When you do get a free minute, don't just think, oh, this is a break, I can breathe for a minute. Yes, take that moment, but also you get out of it what you put in it. Is
Yeah.
that what you've been telling us? So you have to, when you're in service, not worried about what's happening back there and is everyone alive, just trust your team. So almost work yourself out of a job in the sense that your team can run as best as they can without you, so that you can at least once a month just abandon kids ministry, allow your team to do it without you, and come be a part of big church, because you also can't pour from an empty cup.
And the kids need that stability. You be there, greet them as they're walking
Yeah.
in, but when service starts, go to service and dive in and leave your phone. Don't
Yeah.
be distracted by,
Mhm.
just dive in and get everything out
Yep.
of church that you can.
Yep. Trust them to take care of it, and trust the team members that you've built around you, your team, to handle it.
Agree.
It's okay.
Haley, how do you keep yourself from getting burnt out?
I think having good and like honest relationships with the people you're serving with makes it a lot easier, where you know, hey, if I am getting like to that point of I need a break, or if something's going on in your life, being able to be honest with them about this is what you're walking through and I could use some help. If you don't have that relationship with them, it makes it harder to have those
For sure.
honest conversations. So I think making sure you do have relationships with people you're serving with, but also just as hard as it is, like be vulnerable in those moments because they can't help you. If I don't know that Cammie's burnt out, then I can't help her.
Right.
So I think just being able to be, not that you're burnt out, Cammie, I think you're doing great. But if you don't just be honest about it, no one's
Yeah.
going to know.
Love it. What about you? You've been doing this for a long time. And we've tried to give you breaks and we've tried to, point you in other directions. We know this is the anointing of God upon your life in kids ministry. You have this unique grace for this. But how do you get yourself from not being disgusted by all the things and all the dirty diapers and all the bratty kids? How do you keep yourself fresh spiritually?
Definitely, like, making sure, because we do have 2 services, like, serving one, but making sure at some point every week to get into service. It does also help right now with youth group. I also have an extra service each week that I don't even have to think about kids ministry, and I just can go be, like, with my people my age, like, doing things my age. So I think right now youth group is definitely a big help with that, but also, like, building off of what Haley said, like, you have to know that you can, like, trust your people and have the relationships with them, that if you're like, hey, I do, like, this week I can't be back here, like, having the confidence to be able to do that.
Yeah, love it. So, Christy, let's talk all your volunteers.
Mhm.
How do you keep them from burning out?
That's the hard part. They have to be honest when we do spiritual check-ins with them. If we notice that people have been declining, multiple, like 1 month, it's like, okay, maybe they can't do it. We reach out and say, hey, is there another Sunday that works better for your schedule this month? But if they are unable to say, yeah, and sometimes life is just busy, we totally understand. And so we usually ask them to serve both services once a month, just so that that's their week of kids ministry. And then the rest of the time, it's up to them when they want to come to church, 9 o'clock or 11 o'clock service. But after, noticing that they haven't served for 2 months, we're like, okay, something's wrong. That's when the red flags kind of start waving, that we really need to make sure we check in on this person, making sure that when they're not serving in kids ministry, that they are attending church. And I think that's one of the big things, is really trying to check in on all of our people and care for them.
Because we got a few that they serve in kids ministry and never come to church.
Yes.
They serve in kids ministry once a
So
month.
odd.
And they don't even come to church.
Not consistently, not at all. So again, trying to pour from an empty cup, or say that you're an online church goer, but still trying to pour into others in person, it's tough. It's really hard. There's something special about being around other believers physically. Like, there's something about that atmosphere. Yes, God can move through a television screen, and we're thankful for our online campus, but there's something about being here and being able to worship together. So it's essential. And I think, like Haley and Cammie both have mentioned, you've got to be honest. And when it comes time for needing that breather, taking it and being honest about how you feel and knowing where it's at. But it is hard when you have a ministry of this size to check in and keep track with everyone. That is hard.
How many volunteers do you have month to month?
We have probably consistently around 80. Most consistent, probably 60, but 80 on our list that are available.
Each month, 80 people are serving with you each month.
Yep.
Yeah, and typically, that's the average size church in America. That's not even counting the kids. That's just your volunteers that's serving with you. Just your volunteers, you are pastoring the average size church in America. So yeah, it's a lot.
And it feels double that, or almost triple that, because you also feel like you're pastoring the kids as well.
Absolutely.
So it's a big job.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Before you even get to kids, that's just your volunteers.
Yeah. And there have been times where we've been in team huddle before service even begins, and someone comes in either rushing in or late, or you can just tell they just aren't there. And we've looked at people before and said, hey, we care enough about you. We want you to go to church today.
Yep.
You know, they don't want to make us feel bad or feel shorthanded. And we're like, just, you need church today, go.
Yep.
That's more important to us.
I remember the other two sitting here with us. I don't remember a couple weeks ago or whatever, where they looked at you and said the same thing.
Yeah, they pushed me in. They
Go
did.
to church today.
Yep. Yep.
And
because
it was
you
a
can
beautiful
get busy.
service, and you were like, I'm so glad they pushed me to go to
Mhm.
church, because it
Yeah.
was, I don't remember what service it was, but
Yeah.
it was beautiful.
Mhm.
So,
It's hard because you feel torn. You know that there are kids back there that need ministering too, but you've got to make sure that you are receiving from the Lord as well.
yeah, no
Making
doubt.
time to be in service.
Well, I am thankful for kids ministry and for the impact that it made in my life and the impact it made in my girls' lives and in Caleb's life. And I'm thankful for the season that I served there, that it was short-served. Very thankful that season is not here anymore.
How do you feel when you walk into a setting like VBS? What does it do to you?
I know my responsibility in those moments. We say this a lot around here, that you're in charge. So I know my responsibility in that moment is you're on stage. So I'm walking into the back looking for things that you're unable to see, or I'm checking your blind spots. That's
Mhm.
what I'm doing last night.
That's good.
And
Yeah.
so two of your volunteers were fighting, so I stepped in and I said, are you a child tonight, or are you a volunteer tonight? And they got some gritted teeth and some flared nostrils from me while worship was happening.
Oh dear.
A kid escaped. I called it.
I heard about that. Yes.
Yeah. So there's some things that, so my role is I'm here to protect Chrissy.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I'm here to check her blind spots, to make sure, I'm here to be peacekeeper to volunteers fighting each other, and I'm here to love on parents, and I'm here to love on volunteers, and I'm here to. So that's my role last night. Support you, whatever you need from me. You need me to, whatever, doesn't matter. I'm here for you. Here to
I love
support
it.
you.
We're thankful for you.
Thankful for y'all. Thankful for the impact you're making inside of the church and the kingdom of God. You're awesome.
You're awesome.
No, you're awesome.
Okay.
Okay.
Love you, girls. Thanks for hanging out.
Thank you.
Peace.